is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. Okay, so this is kind of the second part of a two-part video set. The first video, which I will link right here, was thinking in numbers as far as scales. Today we're going to be talking about numbers as far as chords, but so much of that comes from the scales video. So it's going to be important to follow along. If you don't understand how scales and numbers work, to watch that video first. Or don't, whatever, just see what happens. Who cares? Yeah, so gear today, I'm using these are lap steels that I built. We call them Apocalypse machines. They are for sale on Reverb as well. I will link something in the description. This one is Reclaimed Pine. It's a roasted maple neck, arcane pickups. I'm going into my DCC Darkos custom 18 watt plexi, and then I'm going through a Sur reactive load IR. For the clean stuff, I will be using an Origin Effects Cali 76 compressor, and if I go dirty, we'll figure it out. Probably Love Pedal Amp 11. Probably. There's a few down there. All right, so let's just jump right in. All of the backing tracks, there's going to be a few. All of the diagrams and things, all that stuff is available on Patreon. That link is also below. Please join me. It's not very expensive. It's $5 a month if you want to support what I'm doing, etc. Okay. Oh, not that much talking today, actually, I think, which is pretty good. Need water. Okay, so we're starting with the major scale. And the major scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it starts over. The way chords are built out of the major scale is really simple. It skips a note. It's every other note. So your 1 chord is a 1, 3, 5. If it's a 1, 7 chord, if you ever heard that phrase, right, a C major 7 chord would be 1, 3, 5, 7. A C major 9 chord would be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. A C major 11 chord would be 1, 3, 5, 7. 9 is 2, actually, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, or 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4. And then a C major 13 chord actually uses all of the numbers just in a... So it's a 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, right? But what it really is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. 2, 4, 6 being 9, 11, 13 in this case because it starts over. Let's start with just the triads. Let's start with just the 1, 3, 5. Okay, the space between the notes is called an interval. So the way this works, if I have a 1, I'm tuned to open D tuning. Okay, and again, this is not the video to start with, but I'm tuned to open D tuning. So your open string on your 4th string is a D. That's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 5. Now, I'm putting up diagrams up here, probably up here. I think it's up here, whatever. I'm not a professional. I put the diagrams up here, and I don't do tabs. You know, the key takeaway with all this stuff always is going to be, I'm giving you all the notes I'm playing. Use your ear. Find the notes. Develop this. It's more important than developing anything else you're doing. I promise. I promise. Anyway, so 1, 3, 5. Now you'll notice that the 1 to the 3 is 4 frets. Okay, 4 fret. And then the 3 to the 5 is 3 frets, right? Or it's okay with a 1, and then we have whatever. We have 4 half steps in between. Or 3 half steps, whatever. What I'm saying is it's 4 frets up. So the first note's here, 4 frets up from that is here, 3 frets up from that, 1, 2, 3 is here. So the way that a major triad works, 1, 3, 5, the way that works is it's a major third, 4 frets, that's the distance between the 1 and the 3, and then a minor third. And what I'm saying with that is this, is like if I had a flat 3 instead of a 3, sounds minor, that's a minor third. We take our intervals. Okay, we're getting off in the weeds right away. This is good. Okay, Intervals come from the major scale. So we have a major second. 1 to 2 is a major second. Okay, 1 to 3 is a major third. 1 to 4 is a perfect fourth. 1 to 5 is a perfect fifth. Okay, 1 to 6 is a major 6. And 1 to 7 is a major 7. Okay? If we alter any of those, if I flat them, they become minor. Okay? The fourths and the fifths, the reason they're perfect is they don't actually change unless you're in like an altered scale. Or maybe the Locrian scale, which I don't talk about. But it doesn't matter. The point is this. We're not there yet. We're in major. If we go to minor, then we have our minor third instead of a major third. We have a minor 6 instead of a major 6. And we have a minor 7th instead of a major 7th. We still have the major 2nd, though. It doesn't have to make sense. The point is that we're talking about intervals. So intervals come from the major scale. So do chords. My first chord has a major third and then a minor third on top of it. So that's a major chord. It's 1, 3, 5. My second chord in the scale, and you can see it lays out on the diagram, is 2, 4, 6. Now, if you look at that shape, it's a different shape. The first shape, right, the major third, or the major 1 chord rather, and that just happens to be a major third with a minor third on top of it. The minor scale, the minor chord, this 2 chord, 2, 4, 6, the distance between the 2 and the 4 is a minor third. And the distance between the 2 and the 6 is still a perfect fifth. Which means that this distance stays the same for all of our chords except for the diminished chord. Yeah. Ugh. So, minor third, major third is a minor chord. Minor third to a major third. But really, this pattern, this is a minor chord. So, our scale notes, 1, 3, 5 is a 1 chord. 2, 4, 6 is a 2 chord. And it doesn't matter if you play the 6 first, or the 4 first, or the 2 first. If it's those 3 numbers only, it is a 2 chord. 3 chord is 3, 5, 7. Now it starts to start over, right? We said we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 4 chord is 4, 6, 1. And again, I know I haven't explained this maybe like this before, but so it just keeps going in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 4, 6, 1. In a major scale, these are how the chords always lay out. It's a major 1, it's a minor 2, it's a minor 3, it's a major 4. You can see it on the diagram here. It's a major 5, right? It's a minor 6. And then the only pattern we haven't encountered yet is diminished chord, diminished 7. And that's how it works. When you want to add 7s, right? If you want to have a major 7 chord or a minor 7 chord or a dominant 7 chord, and again, it comes from the major scale, the way they lay out. 1, 3, 5, 7 is a major 7 chord. So those intervals, and it would be a lot to go into all of that here, but those intervals are going to help define what kind of 7 chords, what kind of 9 chords, what kind of 11 chords, what kind of 13 chords if you're a crazy person. And then there's really common alterations. And I don't know why I'm putting that in quotation marks, but alterations, because alterations a lot of times, because if you're playing like an 11 chord, you might have a sharp 11 because you don't want that 3 and the 4 banging against each other so hard because it's a half step apart. There's stuff like that that's like really common alterations, but the reason that it matters is this. If I know that I have a 1, 3, 5 and I know that I'm playing a 3, 5, 7, then I know the difference in my chords is actually just one note. So if I'm playing a progression, this is a 1. Okay, that's a 1, 3, 4, 1. But I know the notes in my 1 chord are 1, 3, 5. And I know the notes in my 3 chord are 3, 5, 7. There's only one note difference. So on the beginning of this progression, I could play, that's 3, still 3, 4, and then back to 3. You're gonna start to see why this makes sense in a second. But I can do the same thing on the 5. 5. 4, 3. Right? I'm starting to know where my numbers are because I know my scale numbers because I watched that other video, and now I know where my chord numbers are because I start to know the notes in the chord are what matters. So I don't have to be stuck playing a 5 chord on the 7th fret. I can play a 5 chord with a 2 here and a 7 here and a 5 here. Okay, and that's the 2nd fret on the 1st string, 7, which is the 4th fret of the 2nd string, and then the 5, which is there. We want to know our numbers. We want to know what we're doing. Because the next part is really cool. So we have these numbers. And this is our major scale, but I can throw a minor scale up here. Right? And there's our minor scale, and you can see the chord shapes right there. It's a 1 minor, 2 diminished, 3 major, 4 minor, 5 minor, 6 major, 7 major. You see them on there. You see them laid out. We have the same shapes in a different order. And what's really cool is this. So we talked about modes a little bit in the last video, and I think that this is, if this is already a lot, then take that first backing track. Let's run the whole thing real quick, and we'll talk about it, and then we're going to move into modes. But the first backing track, this is a 1 3 4 1, and then 6 5 4 4. Okay, so let's use a number for each bar. So 1 3 4 1, 6 5 4 4. All right, so check it out. It stays on 4. Okay, a great exercise for this would be to just play notes in the chords. Our 1 chord, obviously, just the open strings, but knowing that my 3 is here, my 5 is here, my 3 is here, my 1 is here. Try not to use your open strings. Try to play that, and then use your chord shapes for the other chords. So check it out. I'm using closed strings, so 3, 5, I know my notes, 3, 5, 3, 5, 1, 1, 5, 3, whatever. But I'm going to try to just do a couple notes per chord. And then on my other chord shapes, I'm going to work through the chord shapes themselves. This is going to help. This is a great exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, oh. Forgot what I was, oh, now I have the hiccups. I forgot what I was doing. Hold on. I got you. Chord shapes. Then do it again. See what I'm saying? I'm just using chord shapes. And then we can start adding scale tones around it. I did a little bit around the 6 because I'm a bad person. Now, the next thing you can do, by the way, is you can start adding the 7th of each chord into your chord shape rotation. Well, where's the 7th of each chord? Well, we know where our 1 is. The 7th of the chord is down from your 1. So the 7 of the 1 chord is the 7. The 7 of the 3 chord is the note below the 1 of the 3 chord, which is 3. So the note below the 1 of the 3 chord is 2. Right? 3 chord is 3, 5, 7. The 7 is 2. All right, 4 chord. The 7 of the 4 chord is what? If you didn't get 3, let's go back and let's look at it again. Okay? We're looking at the numbers from the scale. And if we're talking about 7 chords, we start going 1, 3, 5, 7. 2, 4, 6, 1. 3, 5, 7, 2. 4, 6, 1, 3. right? Because each one of those, so now we have this shape. We have this, don't go to sleep on me now. We have this 7-chord shape, which we've talked about a little bit in some other videos, but like, same thing. Let's take that same exercise and do it on 7 chords. Okay? Ooh. Uh-huh. Pretty cool. Okay, that's very cool. That's the basic diatonic scale. Your basic diatonic, well, they're all diatonic. Your basic major scale chords. And you can take any chord change. Most chord changes are going to be major scale changes or minor, obviously minor changes. But those are your major changes. They're going to be part of most songs. When I sit down to figure out a song, it's either the major changes or the minor changes. Okay, so while most chord progressions are going to be from your major or minor scale, there's something called modal interchange. And for the most part, we've talked about modes. We talked about modes in the last video. And this can be really cool. What we're talking about really is grabbing a chord from a mode for just for that chord, just for that bar. It's called modal interchange. We're not actually going to another mode, or we're not using a mode. We're just using a mode briefly. And there are certain like key chords for each mode. So if I have like, you know, the major scale, right? The major chords, 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, and then diminished 7. If I make it a flat 7 major, then it starts to feel Mixolydian. That flat 7 major is the Mixolydian thing. So over a 1 chord, there's that Mixolydian. I'm not going to play minor against that flat 7. I'm going to play Mixolydian. And then we get to here. You can see I went right back to my major against everything that wasn't the flat 7. The flat 7, I go Mixolydian for a second. Mixolydian is the major scale with just a flat 7, right? So let's just do the major modes. So we've got Ionian, major, right? No alterations. That major flat 7 would give us a Mixolydian feel. There's other chord differences as well, but that's the one that makes the most sense. And then a major 2 makes us Lydian for a second. We have a sharp 4 for a second. So if I had a okay, that's major with a regular 4 to a Lydian sharp 4 to a 4 chord, 4 major, which is back to major, right? So that gives us Lydian for a second. When we get to that, we're gonna grab that sharp 4 for a second, and then when we get to that 4 chord, right? It's a really we have a little chromatic thing on top where it's just for a second. So we want to know those scales, but really what we want to know is, oh, Lydian has a sharp 4. It's major with a sharp 4. So against this, I'm going to use the same scale I'm using. I don't need to learn a whole new scale. I'm going to use the same scale I'm using, but I'm going to sharp my 4 for that chord. And this gives us some really cool progressions. Let me do the minor ones real quick, and then we're going to talk about it. Phrygian, the kind of key demographic of Phrygian. Phrygian is a minor scale, but it has a major flat 2. Right, and that's, you hear that a lot more with that one. right? It's got a lot of metallic, a lot of the old metal, especially, which I love a lot. And then Dorian's fun because it's a minor with a major 6, and what that really is it's a minor scale, but then you have a major 4 chord, and you hear it a lot. I had a track here that was like, I did like a cult style track in C, so we still want the drive on for that, but it's like this flat 7 to 4, in C. So we're playing minor. Right, and I'm just grabbing that major 6 against that major 4. So the major, in C Dorian, that F minor should be, right, and instead we're playing, and it gives it that kind of like major lift. It's really nice. And so again, but that one's like in Dorian. That's like an actual Dorian thing. So major 4, although I was still, even approaching that, I'm playing minor pentatonic and then Dorian just against I'm playing that 6 only against the 4 chord, really. So I'm not really making it minor or Dorian against the other 2 chords. That's my approach, personally. That's how I do it. So the last thing is this, though, is like some really cool soul progressions. One of my favorite progressions, and I have it on here. There we go, we're back. I know, people give me a hard time, by the way. The pedals are not in front of me and I can't just step on them, but it would require rewiring the whole thing, and I'm not going to do that. So, okay, so last thing is, this is one of my favorite progressions of all time, and it's a 1, 3 dominant, 4, and we haven't really talked about dominant. Dominant chord is a major triad, right? 1, 3, 5, flat 7. It naturally occurs on the 5 chord, right? 5, 7, 2, 4 is naturally occurring dominant chord. But I like a 1, 3 dominant, 4, flat 6 dominant. And then in this particular case, it goes to a 5. I was just looking for old backing tracks I already had. But it's such a cool, like, okay. So in this case, it goes down to a 5. That's the wrong one. Wrong one. Camera's overheating. We'll see. 1. We're back in the key of D, by the way. Okay, flat 6, 5. Okay, so let the camera cool down before. This is the last thing, but I want to make sure I get it because this was the whole point of this video, is getting to something like this. It's very exciting. Hold on. All right, so last stuff. So look, we've talked about like modal interchange and where this interchange stuff comes from. I'm trying to think about a mode that has major with a flat 6, but I can't think of it. But that's what this 3 dominant chord is. It's a major scale, but all of a sudden the 6 gets flatted for a second, or maybe the 5 gets sharped. I don't. The 5 really gets sharped, but I think of it as a flat 6, personally. So it's this really cool progression where you have a 1 major, 3 dominant. And that's really the key note, even though the 2 is there. The 3 dominant scale, right? Dominant chord is a major triad, right? 1, 3, 5, in this case 3, 5, 7. And then 2. So what I'm doing during that chord is I'm going to the flat 6. And then I'm going to a 4 chord, which has a major 6. Right? So whenever I have those alterations, if I can grab the alteration, which feels out by itself, but in the cons. And then when it goes back to the scale, fix the alteration. Right, which is really nice. And then a flat 6 dominant. So again, we have that it's a flat 6, 1, flat 3, and then a actually what's a sharp 4 between the 4 and the 5. So I think of that as like a major blues scale, really, because it's got my flat 5 in it, it's got a flat 3, and it has the flat 6, which you can add, but I could just play a minor blues scale. Did I say minor before or major? Doesn't matter. The way I'm thinking of it is this. It's really 3 scales. Over the 1 chord, it's a major scale. And over the 4 chord, it's still a major scale. Over the 3 dominant chord, it's a major scale with a sharp 6. Flat 6 with a flat 6. Major scale with a flat 6. Screwing it up. It's hard to say this stuff out loud. And then when I get to my flat 6 chord, then I'm doing a minor blues scale. And when it gets back to the 5 chord, you could even stay on that minor blues until it goes back to the 1. I'll probably add that 7 from the 5 chord, the major 7. So. But check it out. It's really cool because it makes it really sophisticated because I'm changing scales for each chord. Major flat 6, major, blues minor. And this is the thing that's so cool about interchange. And again, I think, learning scales and then learning the numbers and then knowing how to adjust your numbers. Whenever I think of a song, I think in numbers. It makes it really easy for me to move the songs around. If I know it's a 1 5 4, like or a 1 5 2, then a 1 5 4, Mama, take this badge from me. 'Cause I can't use it anymore. Right? I know it's a 1 5 2 minor. 1 5 4. I can do that in any key I want. As long as I can hear it, I know what the changes are. I know that's that. When I hear an alteration, I know, ooh, that's altered. What is it? Where's the chord? And then what is the alteration? The more you do this and the more you get dialed in with it, the more you're going to hear what's happening. And so understanding chord numbers, understanding chord number extensions, understanding chord number alterations. The 2 should be minor. If the 2's major, we got something going on. And we get to take that and make it sound sophisticated. If the 7 is flatted, we got a mixolydian. And we've got that move where we can... And it has that kind of like major bluesy vibe going on. All of these things, the more we start to learn them, the real thing here is not learning modes. I don't love modes. I don't use modes a lot, but knowing how to use modal interchange, knowing how to grab different scales, knowing how to analyze chords. This is not what it's supposed to be in this scale. It gives me the ability to make really sophisticated decisions. All right, we can do deeper dives on this stuff too. If you're digging it and you like this, like the theory stuff, then drop it in the comments below. But I'm a fan of listening. The other thing I would do is just turn on your favorite songs and try to figure out by ear before you pick up an instrument, what are the changes. Hopefully you start hearing them more and more. Thanks for hanging.